Chris Doyle is a Middle East commentator and the Director of Council for Arab-British Understanding. He joins me now live from London. Chris, I'd like to ask you first about this situation that we've been reading about today about the US-backed ceasefire proposal. As our correspondent has noted, quite a confusing situation with no official confirmation from either side on the state of things. Do you think we're any closer to a deal?
I think we're in a dangerous game where all sides are playing games rather than actually getting very serious about achieving a deal. I think that the gap is so large. I think that the Netanyahu government simply believes that if it can buy some time, if it can delay everything, that the odds are in its favor, that it can continue to prosecute this onslaught, this genocide in Gaza, and to essentially achieve its goals of the full and final destruction of Hamas, the removal of any form of their political and military control within the Strip, and of course to release the hostages. But very much actually, as most Israelis know, the issue of the hostages is very much at the bottom of that list. I think it's really difficult unless the United States, unless the Trump administration, in concert with European partners, applies more pressure, then I don't see that the Netanyahu government is going to shift on this. It wants essentially Hamas to surrender. And of course, Hamas is not interested in a surrender deal. It wants a deal that actually will allow it to survive this military aggression. It's simply, in my view, not going anywhere. But that could change with real significant pressure.
And there have been some stronger lines from the likes of Keir Starmer, from Merz, Germany's Merz today, saying that Israel needs to especially end the starvation tactics in Gaza. But as you say, do you think that pressure from Europe, from the UK, from Donald Trump, he chose not to visit Israel during his Middle East tour, will any of that ultimately have any impact on what Netanyahu does?
Well, it depends. They've started cranking up some pressure. The Europeans, we saw that statement from Britain, France, and also Canada coming out last week. We saw some very strong statements from the British Foreign Secretary talking about how abominable the blockade was, though much of this pressure, of course, was on the issue of starvation. It was on denying men, women, and children the basic necessities of life, from food, water, medicines, fuel. But now, of course, we have this slight modification where Israel has allowed limited supplies into the Gaza Strip. And it's just taken a little bit of the pressure off. Where we don't really see the pressure on is to achieve a meaningful, credible ceasefire. It's like the European partners here don't want to interfere into that process. Yes, they want to see one for sure, but they're not prepared to put the pressure on. It's only on getting the aid in and not stopping the atrocities. But these atrocities are going on. The bombing of schools, the killing of civilians, the starvation. I mean, you're going to need 500-600 trucks a day, full trucks, going into the Gaza Strip, being properly distributed to even start to try to address the situation within the Strip. And we're not at that point at all. So, frankly, not enough has been done. But I do think that shift in language and position from key European powers means actually they may be willing to apply more pressure. We could see European powers saying we are not going to allow the existing free trade arrangements with Israel to continue. We won't allow trade with settlement products. The rumors, of course, that France and Britain may even recognize a Palestinian state, though I think they should do that regardless of the situation in Gaza. It shouldn't be seen as a punishment to Israel. It is recognizing Palestinian rights to nationhood, their self-determination. But there are things that can be done. I think also, very notably, the Trump administration didn't push back against those European powers for taking this harsher position. There was no sense that Washington was upset with France and Britain. Far from it. I think that there is an understanding that they were quite happy to see this all going on.
Chris Doyle, Director of the Council for Arab-British Understanding, thank you so much for your time here on TRT World.
Pleasure.